Hello guys, welcome to our awesome show today. Today I'm going to do a new review, and this review is Scooby Doo. You don't know? Okay. So, think about a couple years backwards to the time where we actually had really weird live action films. Like, we had Looney Tunes back in action, we had Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and then we had Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo is a 2002 live action movie based around Scooby Doo, the cartoon, which is the Scooby, Shaggy, Velma, Daphne, and Fred, as they all go and do mystery solving. Now, the movie is nothing like a cartoon. No, it isn't. It's live action, so everything is different, meaning that every the characters and the setting of where it's taking place is really weird. So, what is Scooby Doo? Scooby Doo is a 2002 movie based around the cartoon genre. In the movie, we start at a factory plant abruptly, and then we are then being forcefully to watch Daphne being abducted by this clown ghost guy that comes out, breaks through glass, and she's like what Norwalker would say, like, "Put me down, little bastard, put me down. This is not why my day was to work. No way, no way." Here's what's going on. Daphne gets captured by the clown ghost guy, and now Fred, Velma, and Shaggy and Scooby have to go and rescue her. But since they don't know that much about rescuing, they just know about Fred knows about traps. It's very just not doesn't really work well. She basically has a plan that will get the ghost to get rid of Daphne, so that way they can actually do that. But of course, we all know this, but Shaggy and Scooby kind of mess it up. Basically, what happened was that Shaggy and Scooby are in like a little barrel, and Scoob's like, I'm really scared, Draggy. I'm really scared. I'm really scared. And Shaggy's like, no, Scooby, we have to be quiet. We cannot force our way out of this. You know that, right? And then like the ghost has like some sort of like he's able to lit a match and then refire. He breathes fire on the barrel, which causes Scooby's tail to catch on fire. Scooby pops out of the barrel. He's like, and then the ghost's like, boo. Ah! And then Shaggy's like, what are you doing, man? What? I don't know how that meme works, but you know. So anyways, Shaggy and Scooby are battling each other because the ghost is standing there next to them, and you know how Scooby is. He's telling Shaggy like, Shaggy, the ghost, and then like and Shaggy's like, he's right behind me, isn't he? What's wrong? And then, like the fire goes out, and then he's trying to run, and they're trying to run, but then like oil spills, and then Shaggy's like trying to run but the oil is like really slippery, and he's like, and Scooby's like, oh, come on, run! And Shaggy's like, I'm trying. They run. They get on top of like a conveyor belt, and then Shaggy and Scooby like somehow they're in a factory where they make toys, and Shaggy and Scooby like get on like a skateboard, and they're like skating, and then Scooby's like hit like a rim pipe. So weird. And then while Fred is getting out of his little like basically what happened was Fred accidentally broke a hose that was supposed to use to capture the ghost, but it spilled all over Velma, which causes them all to be they just got water everywhere. Actually no, the ghost sabotaged the hose and it hit Fred, but while Fred's trying to control it, he sprays Velma and she falls into a bunch of chains and she's just hanging there. He's like, sorry Velma, I know Fred. And then like Shaggy and Scooby are on the conveyor belt. They find a like one of those like hook things that they hook on the stuff. They grab it and then they both get smacked and then they both get they hold on it. They go swing back and then they hit the ghost. The ghost and them all fall into a bunch of Barbie doll things. And then Shaggy's gonna be like, that was so fun, right? Right, Scooby? Yeah! Yeah! I can't really do Scooby's voice, but it's very... You know what they do. Anyways, Velma gets Daphne, Velma gets Daphne so that way she can get rid of her little scarf thing that's on her. Because she was, her mouth was shut, after the ghost put her down. I don't know. And there are reporters that come in and they're like, what? What? So basically where they live is called, what's it called? Cusco? No, it's called something, oh man, I forgot what the city's called. Grooville? Coolsville, there we go. They live in Coolsville, which is this very fictional New Yorkish world where, Scooby Doo and the gang live, basically how that works. Basically, they'll do that in the second movie. Did you know they made a second movie after the first one? The first one was alright. The second one was okay. They never made it more until, like, the new one came out. Anyways, we're gonna do this review and then I'll do the second one later on. But right now we're doing the first one. So basically, reporters come in and they're like, "So Fred, are you very pleased that you finally got this guy off your back?" And she's like, "Well, it has a price to take for all those baddies, just the same." And then Velma she's like the smart person, so she unravels who he is, and he's a janitor from a school. And what happens is basically he was trying to get... Basically what was going on was the reporter's daughter was framing the principal's, principal. So the janitor decided to get back on her by basically becoming the clown creature. And using different powers. He used a vacuum-ish pump to pump air into his costume, allowing him to float. So basically, because one of the reporters like, how did the costume work, and how did it fly up in the air and all that stuff? And then Velma comes in and she's like, I know, I can show you that. And then she rips off the costume and it shows that he's wearing balloons and that stuff. And then Velma's like, these balloons contain highly of helium and protein, allowing the ghost to, well. And she hits the button, and he starts to float up like a balloon. It's so weird. And then old guy's like, I wouldn't have it if I wasn't for you meddling kids and you dumb dog. I'll give you all that for this. Scooby Doo. That's how that works. And then basically they got out of there. While they're basically going back to the mystery machine, Velma, Daphne, Fred, and are arguing for some reason. Fred starts Daphne's like, why do you have to always be the person that just has to tell everybody what we are? I mean, you could just lay low while we kind of give the information to them. And then Fred's like, come on, Daphne, I'm just trying to be the good person. And then Daphne's like, ugh, why? Well, it's just like, why would you ever want to be the good person? Because I'm the smart person? And then Velma's like, no you're not, I'm the smart person. You're just the dude that makes traps all the time. And you spend your own day in your costume, your own closet, with doing all cruddy whatever you do in your trap closet. And Fred's like, oh, you take that back. And then Daphne's like, oh, I I'm out of here, but not right now. Then Shaggy just says, you know what, guys? I think we all know who we are and what we do. Like, for instance, Fred, you're like it's like an ice cream sundae. Fred, you're the ice cream, the big and bold, perfect, yummy center that is perfect. Daphne, you're the banana split with a cherry on top, and Velma, you're the sweet cherry soda strawberry sauce that comes down the bottom. We're like, just like that. And then Velma's like, you know what, Shaggy? That's a very well done uh, expression of us. And Shaggy's like, thank you. Then Velma's like, I quit. Then Fred's like, no, I was gonna quit. I was gonna quit. I was. And Daphne's like, no way! I was gonna quit. And if she quits, I quit as well. Then Fred's like, you know what? Yeah, I quit. I'm out of here. That's what Velma says. And then Daphne says, you know, whatever. Then Shaggy's like, guys, don't go. Guys, please don't do this. We're still a gang. Basically, that's kind of like the sad part of the movie. The gang splits up at the very beginning after they do the ghost guy and that stuff, and then Shaggy and Scooby are in the mystery machine, and Shaggy's like driving it, and Scooby's like, "What are we gonna do now, Shaggy?" Shaggy's like, "I don't know. We're just gonna have to lay low forever." Lay low? Yeah. Yeah. So it's been about 3 to 4 years since they basically left the gang. And Scooby and Shaggy are in Rio, and they're basically using the RV as their own sort of personal, like, place to eat. And while they're eating like hot dogs, donuts, whatever they eat. It's ham, donuts, hot dogs, chips, like chocolate, bananas, all that stuff, coconuts, sandwiches. It's basically whatever they eat. And Shaggy's like, oh, well, the cooking is almost done, Scooby. And then Scooby's like, da 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 da. And then Shaggy and Scooby are about to put chocolate on their hamburgers, and Shaggy's about to eat it until one of the persons like outside is like, I'm looking for a person named Mr. Rogers Doo. I heard that this is the band for him, and then he's like, and Shaggy's like, oh, and they just start grabbing all the food and all that stuff. And then then Shaggy's like, So they bail out, and then, but as they bail out, there's a guy with like some sort of like poster thing, and then Shaggy and Scooby come out of there like bursting out, and Shaggy's like, what the heck are you? Who are you? And then Scooby eats his sandwich, and like a bunch of stuff falls out of it. It's everywhere. It's kind of gross, but it's funny. So he's like, "Oh, I'm just here to tell you that there's a new park coming out called Spooky Island." And I thought that you, since you're the only ones that are with the mystery gang, that you would be attending to go to this island and help him do a mystery. And then Shaggy's like, no. We don't go to a spooky island with mysteries and monsters and nothing that's gonna like give us a heart attack and other stuff. And he's like, it's all free. And no, it's made for you and everything else. No, I just said no. And then she's like, all the food you can eat. And then Scooby's like, all the food you can eat? And then pops out with Spooky Island, there where they're going. And while they're in the airport, Shaggy and Scooby are basically being taunted by stuff. But while they're being taunted, Velma, Daphne, and Fred are like in different places. Daphne, no, Fred's the one you see first. Fred's like Spooky Island, very mysterious and socially active. Then Velma comes out and he's like, Fred's like, oh, I didn't know you were going to Spooky Island. Yeah, I got a post slip. It's not much. I guess it's great to see you again. Yeah. So how you been? Well, my dad wants to do some a new job for me, but I don't know if I'm ready for it. I'm still with traps. And then Shaggy's like, hey, look, we're all going to we're all going to Spooky Island, man. And then Fred's like, where's? And then no, and then Daphne comes out and she's like all like, well, kind of weird out. She's kind of like all that sort of. I was gonna go to this Spooky Island all by myself and just get rid of this place. I am a trained physician in karate. And then Shaggy's like, where the heck have you been, Daphne? And she says to him, well, I've been practicing with karate at a karate class. There's a actual, if you watch bonus scenes from the movie, there's actually a scene where you actually get to see where she actually was doing karate. She was actually at a garden place in China, which is pretty cool. And that's how she got her karate and stuff in the movie, so that's how it works. Anyways, then Daphne and Velma are like kind of fitting about what are they doing here and why they're here and why are they going to this place. Then Velma's like, hey, where's Scooby? And then, oh my god. Scooby comes out wearing a grandma's clothes and says, aloha! And then Shaggy says, say hello for grandma, you know that? And Dad's like, no, this won't work, Shaggy. And then Fred's like, Shaggy's like, oh, don't worry, man, this'll work perfectly. While they're on the plane to Spooky Island, they are being mishapped by a bunch of weird stuff. Fred's looking at a magazine, Daphne is just reading stuff, Velma is on her computer, Shaggy is with a person next to him. Actually, you know, Shaggy's with Scooby, Scooby is next to him, and Shaggy's like, Scooby is like, just lay low and don't say anything, okay? Okay. Okay. And then Shaggy gets a kind of a printed call, or no, not a printed call, but someone is next to him, and she's like, "Oh, can I sit here? My plane ticket was a little messed up, but I guess I could sit somewhere. But the guy said I needed to sit by somewhere that's nice and cozy. So is it alright if I sit with you?" And Shaggy's like, "Yeah, no problem. Thanks." And then she's like, "Wow, that's a pretty good dog." I know. His name's Scooby. Scooby? That's a cute name. Yeah, he's pretty cool. So, why are you going to Spooky Island? Oh, my dad wanted me to go, and I decided maybe I could have some time and, you know, not be with him as much. That's actually the best thing I've actually heard from someone like you. Really? Yeah, I don't really have that many parents. Well, I have a father, but he doesn't really know about me. That's far out, man. You know, you and me have very similar effects, you know that. Yeah, very similar effects. And then she pulls out these, like, weird looking, I would guess, treats? And then Shaggy's like, oh man, those things really look like Scooby snacks. And then she's like, my doctor says I have to use these so I don't have to, you know, eat, you know, different meats and that stuff. Like, that is the most hydrophobic thing I've ever heard. And she's like, no way! Yeah, Yahweh. Then, while Shaggy and the new girl are talking, Scooby's interrupted by a cat, and it's hissing at him, and Scooby's like, Scooby, Scooby's like very intense and trying to kind of bark, but he really wants to. But then after that, like hiss, he starts, and then the Fred's like, he basically says, please knock it off, Scooby. It's very unsensitive that you are doing this right now. Scooby's like, knock it off, Fred. He doesn't really say it, but I'm just thinking what he'd say. Then Fred like punches him, and then Daphne's like, "Are you sure that would work?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then Scooby punches him in the nose, and then the cat runs. Scooby gets out of it, and then like the plane somehow tilts a little bit, and then like Shaggy's like, "Scooby, don't eat the kitty!" And then they have this sort of like weird music saying, "In the land of mistletoe, oh, 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 in the land of..." It's just weird. It's weird music. Very weird music. Then, they're basically on what's it called? Docks of where they're behind Spooky Island. And actually, Spooky Island is an island, but it's a theme park island based around monsters and stuff. Monsters and creepy stuff. Really cool. I like it. I like the concept. The island is based around monsters and creepy crawlies that are trying to destroy the planet and stuff. But this movie gets really into it while they're on the island. And I'm reviewing the entire thing, so let's just keep going. So while they're being halted by a bunch of stuff, there's a guy in a weird tiki like iron thing, sort of that, and he's like, "Welcome to Spooky Island, the scariest place in the world." And then while Shaggy, Scooby, Fred, Daphne, and Velma, they approach this middle thing, he's like, "Scooby Doo and the gang, you're fast and wide and share mystery." And then his thing starts to not work, and then he falls out, and he's like, "Oh, sorry about that." Also, the person that's playing the dude that runs the thing is Mr. Bean. From all the Mr. Bean movies, he actually has a voice. I was actually kind of impressed that Mr. Bean is in this. But he plays the main sort of antagonist in this movie. But he basically is the runner of Spooky Island. And he's like, "My name is Mentvire, and welcome to Spooky Island. How can I help you?" And then Shaggy and Scooby and Velma and Daphne. Fred guy goes first, and he's like, "So what's going on here? Can you tell us?" And then he's like, "Yeah, sure." So they're walking, and then he's like, "Well, there's something going on the island, and there's something bad happening." Velma's like, "What's wrong?" There seems to be something going on that is not right, and there's something I need you guys to stop whatever is going on. And he shows people. He basically says there's a curse on the island that someone, or a spell that someone has put on the island, and basically has taken over the place as well. So he basically says, "So look around. People might seem like very, normal, but somehow they've changed, and therefore there's something going on that is gonna destroy my entire amusement park if you don't help me." And then Velma's like, "Well, they look normal to me." And then he's like, he'll say, it's like, they changed, something's going on and all that stuff. And then there's a guy that comes next to her, and he's like, Clairol, I haven't seen you in a long time." And she's like, "Do I know you?" Claro, it's me, David, the person that we met in the I don't know, the mall, and I married you. And she grabs his neck and says, "Get off my partner, you!" And then Clara's like, David's like, "Clara, no!" And throws her and throws him. And then she runs off, and then the dude with the person that runs places is like, "See, this is what I'm telling you. This is talking about." And the other girl is just being all in 6 inch and whatever, and I can't help myself. Then Fred's like, "Well, we're here, so we're gonna go and solve the case and hopefully get out here as well." And then he's like, "Well, while you're here, let's have some Hoopapalooza." And then Scooby's like, Hoopapalooza? Uh-oh. And then all of a sudden they have this big party thing going on with fire and tiki things and all that stuff, and hookah hookah looka booka and all that stuff. Velma she is interrogating a person that's wearing a skull mask, and he's like ironing blades, and he's like, and Velma's like, "You haven't seen anything weird lately or anything that's not ordinary?" And the guy's like, "No." And she's erupted by these guys in weirdness. And they say like, "Oh, then you whole lot of the whole wires, and this is what the creatures say. And then this guy comes out of nowhere saying, "My name is Hado, king leader of the underworld. And this is my servant of Halus. We have come from Alcarucus to interrogate this nation island." And then they kind of tell a story of like creatures being on the island and stuff, and then Velma kind of like spoils the all like scare factor, and he's like, "Does this frighten you?" And Velma's like, "It would have, unless it wasn't for the smoke screens like there, and there. Oh, and also and the projector." And he's like, "A smart little girl." It's pretty funny to actually think about. She basically got down with all the stuff that looked like it was freaky, but then she like literally spoils the entire thing. Then after that, Shaggy and the new girl and Scooby are being harassed by, well, nothing. But Shaggy and the new girl are basically playing a, like a crane game with those like doll things and stuff. And Shaggy's just telling like ooga wow and all that stuff, and ball baby and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, like I can't believe that. It's so sweet," and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, you have no idea." And then something happens, and a bar guy says, "I'm listening for a guy named Mr. Doo." And then someone says, "You mean Melvin Doo?" "I'm Melvin Doo." And then he's like, "No, Scoopy." Oh, oh. And Scooby sits on like a table, and he hands the phone, and then he's like, "Hello? Got a bunch of hamburgers for you." "Ooh, hamburgers." Just walk into the forest. Okay. What? If someone tells you that walk in the forest so no one can see you? No. I would run. Run. Or I'll just like pull the line out and just say, "Oh, uh-oh, you're gone, you're dead, whatever." Throws the phone away. That's what I would do. But I'm not Scooby, so. Scooby runs in the forest. Shaggy and New Girl are kind of still talking together. While they're talking, Scooby finds he's basically, "Hamburgers, where are you?" And then he sees the bag saying, Goes. And he starts to look in the bag, and all of a sudden, a weird, creepy creature starts to crawl up towards him. Then he's abruptly being like, there's like this sort of scene like he's like having the bag having the bag down, and then the creature pulls it up, and then pulls it, and then he's like, no, up, down, up, down, up, and then the creature pulls off. He's like, ah, and then she like, oh, and he climbs on top of a bamboo tree thing, and he's like he's climbing up, and then the creature like comes up, and the creatures are really creepy in this movie. Like, they did an excellent job with the creepiness with the monsters. These monsters are actually real, so they're not like monsters that are in a mask. These are real monsters. And while Scooby is being taunted by this thing, he accidentally goes over to the next bamboo, but since the bamboo is really stretchy, it swings the monster far away, and the monster hits a roller coaster, and he's being smacked in the head with a metal pole and hit in a roller coaster cart, and he's being rushed out and hits his head, and I guess kills him. I'm not sure. Scooby kills a monster in the movie first time. While that happens, Scooby runs, and he's like, monster, monster, and this guy's like, monster, and then this guy and weird, I guess, I'm guessing it's like referring to dead mouse, but he has like he's a bunny, so it's all stuff. And then Shaggy's like, come on, man, don't be a crybaby and stuff. And Scooby's like, Then Daphne comes out, and she's like, come on, guys, we're going. And then Velma's like, then Shaggy and Scooby are like, okay. And then there's they cut back where Velma is walking towards a creepy looking dock place where a guy he's gonna use a sacrifice to kill a chicken. And while he is being interrupted by Velma, actually no, Velma is doing stuff with a new person somewhere. Anyways, that's Daphne. Daphne investigates and finds a person that's doing a sacrifice for a chicken. While he's trying to do a sacrifice, Daphne interrupts him. He's like, yeah, he's talking his weird language, like, Hupatuka, Kukla, I was gonna kill this chicken and all stuff, but you had to be such a low cruise to be in this. And he's like, oh, I'm just looking for stuff, more clues. What about this Spooky Island? Oh, okay. What do you want to know? I want to know if there's anything wrong about this island. There's something wrong here. Evil foes, terror, and creatures, and vicious things that arise from the darkness. And the veil of the bay. Excuse me? Leave now. Leave until your bones and cracks are filled with darkness. And Daphne is like, no. Then he says, do not go in that spooky island castle. And then Daphne's like, aha! You want me to go to that spooky island castle. Did you just hear me what I just said? But you're scared. So that means you want me to go, you do not want me to go up that air, but you're still saying I should. Or maybe you didn't want me to go up there, but now I want to go up there, so that means I have to go up there, so I'm just gonna prove my point. I think, and then he's like, huh? I think I'll see you. I'll see what your thing will trap is. And then he's like, what in the world did I just get myself into? That's where Daphne gets Shaggy and Scooby there, and then there's a cut back to that scene, and the cut back comes back, and then Shaggy's like, no way. Daphne's like, come on, Shaggy, no. You know what happens to us in spooky castles and weird mummy places, where, he says three things. Like, what can go wrong? One, big sharply pointy objects and might be not stable, like mannequins and stuff, could slice you right in half, but they can scare the creatures. Okay, but that probably won't happen. Two, there's someone that could be looking right through the art style and staring back at you just before you even know what's going on. And then Daphne's like, "You have nothing to worry about, Shaggy. We are not going in there, and that's final." And then Shaggy and Scooby go, and then Scooby's like, and then like Shaggy and Scooby. And Shaggy's like, "Come on, Scooby." He's like, all right. And then he's like muttering around the ground, and Shaggy's like, "Oh, did you hurt your leg and that stuff?" Oh. And then Scooby says, "Yeah." Shaggy's like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, you gotta be kidding me." And then Velma comes out of nowhere. But actually, no, Velma doesn't come out of nowhere. Daphne still is like, "Well, you wouldn't do it for a Scooby snack now, would you?" Yeah, I would. And then she's like, "And you be fearless?" "Fearless? Yeah. And then he actually punches Shaggy in the face. And then Shaggy's like, "Oh, lay off the inspiration, Scooby. Sorry. Sorry." So they eat their Scooby's next. Shaggy doesn't get any, but Scooby does. And then Daphne goes through. And Shaggy and Daphne and Scooby go in there, and then Daphne's like, "You're not gonna stay out here, are you?" "No, thank you." And then he goes through. While they're in there, Daphne sees a bunch of stuff, and then a weird thing happens. Something pops out and then scares both Daphne, Shaggy, and Scooby. And then Velma goes out and she's like, "Ha! I got you! I got you!" And then she's like, "Oh, that you are? Yeah, that you got us, but you're gonna pay for that." "Oh yeah, I am. Sure, I will. Whatever." And then Velma explains that this is like a very abandoned like ride per se. There's nothing going on here and stuff. And in a way, there isn't, but then there is. So I'm gonna give you a break for now, guys. This is part 1 of the review on Scooby Doo. Crazy Zombie is out. Bye bye.